What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. My name is Gillis the Kid. I'm here again with my friend Mike, and tell him what we just saw.
We just got done watching A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master.
The Dream Master.
And I just want to say probably one of my, at least my favorite one out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because I think in this one, as we talk about, it had a little comedy to it with, when it comes to Freddy talking in this one. Well, as we run it by, we'll get into it. So.
Right.
So just real fast, the director of the movie was Renny Harlin, who directed a couple of movies you might know. He directed Die Hard 2, with Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is John McClane. Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone and John Lithgow. Also, The Long Kiss Goodnight and Deep Blue Sea. Yep. And in Deep Blue Sea, who's in that one again?
LL Cool J, and then
and what was the other one?
The Long Kiss Goodnight had Sam Jackson and Gina Davis.
And also that we were saying that Renny Harlin was also married to Gina Davis. They were married not long, like except for about 5 years, from '93 to '98. So
this movie, it's a classic, just like the first one in my opinion, with Johnny Depp.
Right. The second one, as we said, you can skip that one if you want.
You can skip the second
because it has nothing to do with between the first and the third one.
Right.
Whereas this one picks up after the third one.
And then then we have the fourth one,
and that which we're going to talk about right now. As we said, this picks up right after Part 3. We open up with
Kincaid and
Joey. First we get to the opening with Kristen Parker. Bear in mind this is a different Kristen Parker in this one. The last one was Patricia Arquette, who was in the third. She was the original Kristen Parker. This one is Tuesday Night. Now bear in mind her real name. She was born. That was her kind of like her actress name, but her real name is. We looked this up earlier on. I'm trying to find her. Her real name is Melody Lynn Knight.
Right.
That's her real name, but Tuesday Night is her actress name. And also, she's actually a singer, believe it or not.
Right.
If you know her music, I don't know her music, but she is a singer. Does like pop music and stuff.
Yeah.
And as the movie starts, when you hear the opening song, I'm running from this nightmare. That's actually her singing that song in the opening. Right. And also, too, this is also the first movie that Robert Englund got top billing, by the way. Because 1, 2, and 3, it always ended with him saying, and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. But this one, it's Robert Englund in Nightmare on Elm Street, so he got the top billing. So so as we said, this is Tuesday Night playing the role of Kristen. As we said, Patricia Arquette was the first one. She actually turned this one. She turned it down. They did ask her to come back for it, but she was doing another movie at the time, and that's why she was unavailable. And I think she wanted to kind of move on to other stuff, other things in the future with her movie roles and stuff. So that's why Tuesday Night got the role for this one. And also real fast too, Ellie Cornell supposedly was going to audition to play Kristen Parker.
The girl from the Halloween movies.
Halloween movies, right. She did Halloween 4 and 5. She played Rachel. She didn't do the audition, if I'm saying it right, but she was going to. But she was already doing Halloween at the time, so she didn't do this one. So, but so we start off with Kristen going to Freddy's house. Apparently she can't move on.
A random trip to Freddy's house.
Yeah, apparently she can't move on after he was killed. In the last one. She goes inside. Well, she meets the little girl at the beginning, saying hi to her,
She's singing the lullaby.
Or first she was asking if anybody lives at the house, she's like, no, nobody lives here. Or she says, where's Freddy? He's not home. So she goes inside the house. Well, first it's starting to rain, so she goes inside. Eventually she ends up in the boiler room. And then finally that's when she calls Kincaid and Joey.
Right.
Now they're the same original guys. It's Ken Sagos, Ronnie Eastman. They were in the last one. They're back in this one. So she brings them back into her dream or nightmare, whatever you want to call it. Of course, Kincaid. Not again, Kristen.
Right.
And that's when he said, Freddy is dead, buried and consecrated. We won, remember? And Joy was trying to convince her, saying, the pipe. Look, she put her hand on the pipes. The pipes are cold. The boiler's cold. See for yourself.
And Joey, he can talk now. He's not a mute.
Right, because remember, if you remember Part 3, that's when Freddy was in all the mirrors, and Freddy was grabbing him, everybody grabbing him to take him inside the mirrors, and that's when finally Joey just got up and just went, no, and all the mirrors cracked and exploded, and that's when Joey's just like, wow, I say that? And then, of course, Kincaid, you found your dream, Power Man. So, yeah, so that's how he was talking in this one. Plus, his hair got a little longer, too.
It did.
Yeah, if you remember, he had short hair in the third one. This one, his hair was like...
it looked like a mullet, so...
Right, it was all out in this one, so... So that's when they, Kincaid's dog, Jason, comes out and, like, bites her or something. Yeah. So then
she
they
wakes
all wake
up with the mark on her arm.
Right, they all wake up. And then the next day they get, that's when she goes to Alice's house. It's the first time we meet Alice, one of the regulars, played by Lisa Wilcox. Mm-hmm. And then we meet her brother, Rick, who was played by Andreas Jones, if I'm saying his name right. So we meet the brother and sister.
Rick, he's into martial arts.
He's a martial arts guy. Then we meet the grumpy father. The father of Alice and Rick, because remember she said, "How are you, Mr. Johnson?" He just walks away like he doesn't want to talk to her. So
why was he sneaking out of the top window?
He said it's avoid all contact day. He was saying. I forget what he said, but that's what he said. It's avoid all contact day. I forget why, but that's what he was saying.
Oh, when Dad's taking aspirin, it's
that's when Dad's taking contact. Right, taking aspirin to avoid all contact day. Yeah, I guess it's like becoming a grouch. So then we get so they go to school. Then we meet the rest of the regulars. We meet Debbie, she's the weightlifter, does the exercise. Debbie. Then we meet Sheila she has the asthma, and then of course Danny.
Sheila is the black girl with the glasses.
The glasses and the asthma, and then of course Danny, which is funny because Danny's real name is Danny Hassel. Mm-hmm. So we meet him. Right. That's when they all start to like him because to them he was one major league hunk as they said.
He was like the jock guy.
Right.
He's the cool guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So they all liked him. So that's when you kind of like see who everybody is. So. Yeah. And then don't forget then Kincaid and Joey. Remember when Kristen was at her locker. Remember they went up to her and she went, "Hi guys, hi guys." That's all you have to say after last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when Joey comes up, or not Joey, Rick comes up and says, "We don't kiss and tell. How about you guys?"
Yeah. The main thing, Kincaid and Joey was trying to tell her that, Freddy was dead.
Right, they were trying to tell her, move on, time to start living like regular people. Yeah. That's what but she wasn't gonna, she couldn't let it go, and she kept thinking he was coming back, which of course eventually he did. We'll get to that, which leads into. The first, Kincaid at the house, playing darts or something. Mm-hmm. Jason comes to his dogs. He starts petting him, and of course he falls asleep. Mm-hmm. Wakes up in the junkyard. I guess he was in a junkyard or something. Yeah. Well, which is funny because that's where the third one took place. In one part, the junkyard. That's when Jason,
I'm guessing that's why he dreamt about it again.
Right. That's where Jason, the dog, was there. That's when the dog, it looked like he was gonna.
Yeah,
he was gonna, I think. Well, that's what he was doing. It's like he was gonna kind of like pee, but it was like a flame. It was like a flame coming out, which opened the dirt. The dirt opened up, and then you see the skeleton of Freddy, which was in part 3. Because that's when the skeleton killed Donald Thompson. But it was all broken. But then eventually, you see the bones and stuff coming together. The skeleton was all coming together, and then you see the skin. The skin was coming. You see his eyeballs were popping out. Eventually his clothes came on. He grabbed his hat, and of course the gloves. And then he put his gloves up in the air.
He reanimated basically.
Right. He came back to life. And you see, of course, Kincaid's starting to run for his life. And of course, and that's when you first see Freddy saying, "You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead."
Well, Kincaid, he was like strong. So
right.
He was basically like superhuman.
Right.
So. That's how he was able to push the car on him.
Right, and he was able to because he was like strong like he was in part 3. Right. Kincaid got all excited. Yeah, ooh, take that one. Yeah. And then the lights. That's when all the cars, the engines started happening, and the cars were moving in. So he couldn't run. He was trying to run, and that's finally we just went. Kristen, Freddy's back! Yeah. Freddy's back! Freddy's back! And then finally, Freddy grabs Kincaid by his shirt, puts the glove on his stomach.
Freddy does not mess around in this movie.
The survivor, he didn't waste time on the survivors of the last one. Yeah, I'll see you in hell. Tell him Freddy sent you. 1 down, 2 to go.
And then we have.
And you just hear Freddy. Well, yeah, they just hear. Well, after Kincaid died, you just hear him laughing in the background. So and then eventually we lead into. Then we go to Joey, right?
Joey
watching MTV on his waterbed.
And then we have
Well, on the bed. Well, yeah.
The water bed.
Yeah, the water bed. Yeah, yeah. The model. Yeah, he was reading his magazine and he had the poster of the model at the top. And that's when obviously he falls asleep because then the water bed, the bed started moving and vibrating, and he sees the models under the water, and then he looks like she's not there. He looks down.
Yeah, water beds are like an '80s thing, so.
Right. You see her, right? You see her, then she just disappears, and Joey's like, "What? Wait, where'd you go?" And then, and that's when Freddy rises out of the water, grabs Joey. That's one of the classic lines. How's this for a dream? And then just the way he was shoving him in the water, he was like ticked off me too. He's like, it's like
he's looking at the poster down the
Kristen, Kristen, and then all of a sudden you see the glove kind of whoosh, and then you see the blood coming. The blood's coming out, and then of course Joey dies eventually. So he's gone.
So the original characters.
Two of the three, right? The 2 of the 3 survivors, are both gone. And then we get to Kristen the next day at school, her being curious, so he says to saying to Alice, have you seen Kincaid and Joey?
So he just assumed they were dead because there was.
Right. I mean, yeah, because Alice said, I'm sure they're around, and they go into the as soon as they walk in, goes in the classroom right away. She doesn't waste time. She sees the 2 cheers, Kincaid, Joey, and that's what we were saying before, she just assumed right away they were gone. She didn't want to wait till maybe they were sick. They were absent from school. No, but she just assumed they were gone already. That's when Rick was like, "What are you doing? Calm down." And she took her nasty bump on the head. And that's
you ever notice all the characters are in the same class?
Yeah, they are.
It's
right. That's when you see the well, first it's the nurse, but it's Robert Englund. Disguised that you see actually Robert Englund as the nurse, disguised as the nurse. You can tell he's got the wig on.
That was funny.
Right. That's when he started laughing. That's when he becomes Freddy. He's got the needles. I want to throw some blood. And the blood's coming out of the needles. So they go to the diner, and that's when Rick tells Alice, Kincaid and Joey died last night.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny goes with them, and that's when they go to the house. That's where Danny goes. So what haunted house? Yeah. And
well, he didn't understand anything.
Right. But he's telling so he's telling the story. Rick's telling the story to Danny about Freddy. How he died. Died and all that. And then eventually, Kristen's mother comes up. Kristen, get the hell away from that house. On delay.
All the parents are always aware of what's happening. So.
Right. So they go to the house, and that's when you start to find out that Kristen, the mother kind of drugged her with the food and the
she
drink.
gave her sleeping pills.
Right. And she, and it's like she didn't believe her. Remember we were saying this before, how she didn't believe her about the. When she said, 2 of my friends, when 2 of your friends die or something, you don't want to go to sleep either or something. Yeah. And that's when, obviously she didn't believe her, because remember that's when she said, "Oh, you're just tired. I noticed you haven't been sleeping, young lady." Mm-hmm. So she didn't even believe what she said. Right. So I don't know, but yeah, so she started getting woozy. She went upstairs into the bedroom. She was getting ready to leave the house, and then she finally passes out, and that's what she said.
Well, she was trying to call someone to warn him.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's right. She fell, and that's when she said, find a happy place, which was the beach. Yeah. That's when you see, it looks like I guess it was be Alice's little girl. I don't know, because remember she said,
yeah,
right, because remember she said, "What's your name?" She said, "Hi, little girl. What's your name?" "Alice. I have a friend named Alice." Yeah. And that's when you see Freddy in the water with the gloves.
He was basically there to give her hints.
Yeah, it was like a shark.
It was like a shark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the glove was because it was like turning more into gloves. You see the flames coming out of the gloves, and he pop. Of course, he pops out. Kristen runs for her life. She goes into the quicksand.
Right.
And Freddy steps. He's like stepping on her.
Every time they go into a dream, he controls it somehow.
Right. And then she ended up back at the house, Freddy's house.
Yep.
And then she ends up in the boiler room. That's when they start to have the little showdown.
Yeah.
Elm Street's last brack. Farewell. We beat you before, and now you're all alone. Right. Kristen, why don't you call one of your little friends? Maybe they can help. Yeah. Never. I'm the last. Yeah. I want you to reach out and touch someone. And that's when she called Alice. Right. Alice to come in the dream. So she comes in. She comes in first. She looks like
first she pulled Alice into a couple of dreams.
Well, yeah, as I said, looks like she was in a trance when she was walking. She was like walking real slow, like she was she was like half dazed.
Right.
And that's when Freddy, of course, another classic line, "Ah, sweet, fresh meat."
Mm-hmm.
You know, Alice come to Daddy, and then she goes, "Leave her alone, you son of a
She
bitch."
just charges out.
Charges out, picks him up. Yeah, no one sleeps, and then he throws her into the furnace or hot fire or something, and that's when she was all burned up. And that's when she said, "Alice, you leave my power." And then the soul comes in. Well, it goes in her, but then it goes in Freddy too. Yep. And that's when he takes the sweater off and says, "The souls of my children."
Every time someone dies, it transports into her.
Right. So it leads into the next day. That's when that's when they go to school. That's with Sheila.
Sheila.
That's when because remember with Kristen, she used to say we have matching luggage, and then she said the same. Al said the same thing to Sheila. We have matching luggage. So we get leads into the classroom scene, getting ready to take their exam. Mm-hmm. So that's when she obviously Alice.
She meets Freddy, and then he.
Right. Well, that's what. Yeah, that's when.
With her.
It's like she's the first. It's like she's the first one to bring people into the dream. Right. So she falls asleep, and then that's when Sheila's the first one. Right. That's when she sees the ink and all moving around, and she sees a little gizmo come out, grabs her arm, and that's when you see Freddy.
Yeah. It looked like something from like Ghostbusters. It was like a little gizmo.
Right. And then you see Freddy playing with the apple, cutting the skin off it, and then he goes up, and he messes around with Sheila, knocks her glasses off, sticks his tongue out, and that's when he says, "Want a suck face?" And she's like, "No." And he's he's like kissing her, he's sucking like all this, the skin's getting flat, her body's getting like all real thin and everything, right?
He did like a Shang Tsung on her when he sucked your soul out.
There you go, yeah. You've looked, and that's when she, with the asthma, she was having the asthma attack.
Right.
And then everybody, getting the asthma in her mouth and everything, and then and that's when you see the flash.
Technically she was already dead.
Right. They see the soul come out. Her soul come out, goes into Alice, and she falls down. Didn't you say he was here? What are you talking about?
Right. You can't. He's invisible. You can't see him.
Right. And then he goes, and that's when she gets taken on the ambulance, and of course Alice saying to everybody, it was Freddy, and what was it, Debbie? She says, "Enough of that crap," and then and Alice is like, "I did it. It's like it's my fault. I bought her. I let her in. I bought her. I bought her in. She died." And then that's when Danny says, She's taking this very serious. I say Kristen's story's getting to her. That's what he said. Kristen's story's getting to her.
Yeah, they thought she was like wacky.
Yeah, but that's when Rick said, this is we're all falling apart here. It's getting crazy.
Right.
He runs away. So.
Yeah.
So.
And then who was next?
Well, let's see. After she was dead, first they get to the. I think it leads into the movie. Rick. It'd be Rick. That's right. Rick was next. Yeah, because it led into the school scene. Yeah, when they were gym, and that's when you see Alice was in class with and Robert Shea. He one of his cameos. He was the teacher in the one scene, and that's when Freddy Rick falls asleep. Because of course Alice falls asleep. So it's Rick's turn. She brought Rick in Freddy's dream now. Yeah. And that's when he was in the elevator. Well, he was in the stall, and that's when the cheerleaders came in.
She had a habit of just bringing people into the dream.
Right. So you see the cheerleaders come in, and that's when you see Kristen in the mirror. Rick, make me laugh. And then she turns around, her face is all burned up. And she laughs at it. And Rick's like, And then it turns into an elevator. Right. And that's when Freddy goes, "Going down." And Rick's falling back, and he's in the elevator. He's like, whoa, he's in the elevator. It's real fast. And then he goes out. It turns into the dojo. The dojo. And you see an invisible Freddy fighting, beating the crap out of Rick. But all of a sudden, then Rick gets up and I don't know what happened. He was able to fight him. I don't know. He's invisible. But he was able to. It's like he knew he was out or something. He picked him up. He threw him around, and he kicked his glove off. Because that's what he says. "How are you gonna fight me without your weapon, Freddy?"
Took the glove and just.
Right. But then the glove. Right. Because then the glove came on. Right. And that's when he goes, "Sayonara, rimshot," and hit him in his stomach. Right. And of course, Alice again. Whoa! She felt. She felt it. No. And then the window cracked. Everyone's like, "Whoa!" Yeah. So
and just to let you know, every time someone dies, she took a picture off the mirror.
Right. She was taking stuff. She was taking the stuff down
to eventually where she could see herself.
Right. So then the next day, then they had Rick's funeral. And Rick had a quick appearance. Remember, he came out of the coffin, saying they think I'm dead, don't they, or something.
See, that's where the comedy comes in in these movies.
Right.
Where he's just like, hey.
It was a big joke to fool Freddy. And that's when he says, well, gotta go. And he shuts the door, he says, good night. He just says good night, too. He's like on touch, like, good night.
You also see that they're all buried in the same spot, too.
That's right, too. After we failed to mention that, too. After Kristen died, right, you saw the cemetery, because Kincaid and Kristen, I think, were next to each other. Then Donald Thompson and Nancy were in the back. Right, I forgot to mention that, too. So you see it's like Freddy's section of all the people, the people that he killed, too, after Kristen. Yeah, because when the house was on fire, her bedroom was on fire, you just see, like, her hands.
Even Nancy's grave was there. That's
why I said Nancy and Donald were right next to each other.
Yeah.
So Rick was gone, and then that's when Danny and Debbie, they were kind of starting to believe her now.
Right.
Remember, that's when Debbie
after everyone is dead.
Right. She gave her Debbie gave her the what was it again? She gave her the
it was a spike bracelet.
The spike bracelet.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. It chases the enemies away or something, and that's when as we were saying, after every death, she has like she was stealing their persona. Now she says it's going to be mind over matter, which Sheila used to say. So next would be eventually we get to Debbie's death scene, but first that's when Alice was going to meet Danny at the diner.
The diner.
But then she, as she was on her way, she decided to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And that's when you see her watching the old 50s movie or something. But then eventually it turns into the diner.
Yeah.
And that's when she...
it's like she's watching her own, dream.
Right.
Yeah.
She gets picked up, the wind picks her up, and then she, it gets windy.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you see her, she's holding on, and she falls, and she lands in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's when you see Rick, Kincaid, Joe, you see them all sitting in the, Kristen sitting on the top of the seats and together, they're clapping at her.
Yeah.
You see like a quick appearance of all the people that Freddy killed.
Yeah.
You go, and you see when she goes in the diner, it's supposed to be like Alice, older version of Alice, saying, "Well, all right, honey, will it be?"
Right.
Or come on, honey, I don't want to be here all day.
Don't forget the pizzas.
And then the pizza. Well, that's what I said. The pizza's coming. Yeah, because that's when Freddy just pops in over. If the food don't kill you, the service will.
Yeah.
Aha. The usual.
Yeah.
Aha. That's when he goes, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo." And it was Rick. It was all faces of the people.
Yeah.
And he grabbed it was actually Rick's face.
Right.
He goes, "Rick, you little meatball," and then he starts eating, and that's when he says to Alice, he says, "Bring me more."
Yeah.
Because then he sees Debbie on the screen exercise, and that's when Freddy says, "Your shift is over."
Yeah.
So it leads into Debbie getting ready to work out,
Yeah.
and that's when Alice, she wakes up at the house. And that's what led into her going. She finally met Danny at the diner, saying, "Come on, we gotta hurry. I'm driving." So they drove away, and that's when they started getting into the circles.
Yeah.
Because they kept,
It was like a loop.
Right. So she couldn't beat her to stop Debbie, because she did it twice, and that's when Danny says, "I get the weirdest feeling we've done this before."
We've done this before.
He's done this before, and that's when he finally said, "Come on, even Danny said too. We gotta hurry. I'm driving." So so Debbie's working out, and then that's when Freddy's there, and he puts the. They were doing the weightlifting.
Yeah.
And that's when she,
he was trying to push it down.
Yeah. I don't believe in you. I believe in you. As she's doing it in her arms, her arms get crushed back. And that's when you see the
roach.
It's like roach arms. Yeah, it's like an insect's arms. Yeah. she runs away. And that's when she, it's like she's in like a little box room or something.
It's like one of those boxes where you buy for roaches.
Okay, yeah. That's when and then she falls. That's when
she's in the sticky stuff. She can't move.
Well, and then Freddy's like shaking the box. I think that's how she fell down into the sticky. I think it was supposed to be like the food that the bug was on when she killed the bug at the beginning of the movie.
Didn't it rip her skin off too?
Well, that's what happened. She was trying to get up, and then because then it opened up, and then it was the bug. Yeah, and her face was a bug. It was a bug's face. Right. So she was basically a bug, and then the other bug. Yeah. And then, of course, and that, the other bug was Freddy. I guess, I don't know. That's when Freddy was on the outside, and that's when he said, "You can check in, but you can't check out."
Yeah.
And you see the splat. And then, of course, Alice.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Alice got her powers now.
Yeah, Debbie. She's dead. And that's when she sees Freddy on the street. All right, I'm going to punch his tail into something. that's when they crash, and Danny's like half, he's half at it, but of course she's fine.
He gets like wounded here.
Right.
Then he starts like hemorrhaging too.
Stomach was bothering him, so he gets taken in. They take him to the hospital, and then Alice goes back home.
She brought him in the dream too.
Right. Well, she goes, because she said, "When's the surgery?" 15 minutes, and then that's when she goes back home. That's when she finally gets changed, gets her gear on.
Right.
Puts the jeans on.
She's strapping her shoes on.
And then
putting the spikes on.
Right. And then eventually too, with the power, with the personas, she was eventually able to do Rick's moves with the nunchucks
Oh,
and
it's
stuff.
bandana. Yeah.
Right. She got ready. So she was ready, and that's when.
Thank God for Rick powers, though. She wouldn't have been able to fight him at all.
Yeah, right. That's when Danny's in the hospital, and that's when he was still alive because he saw Krueger. Yeah. And that's when he goes Krueger, and he goes, "Well, ain't Dr. Seuss." And that's when Alice. She took all she finally just took all the pictures down. And that's when she saw Freddy, inside too, and she's like, "Get away from him, you son of a bitch!" And then she jumps in the mirror. She ends up in the room with Rick.
Right.
So they escape, and that's when they're in the spinning that room, the little spinning tunnel with Freddy, and that's when he starts moving the
It looked like something out of a fun house.
The fun house, right? He was moving around. How about a spin, lovebirds? Yeah, because he was able to keep his feet out as he was doing it. So they end up, and then that's when they end up in the church. They fell into a little church choir room. And that's when Danny was starting the blood was starting to come. He was starting to come out, and then eventually they woke him up. Because remember he woke up because he was fading away, like Alice. And so that's when Danny woke up. He's like, "You gotta pull me back under. You gotta pull me back under now."
Right.
And he's like, "Don't worry, son. It was rough, but we got you out."
And then you have remember she's like doing the kung fu at him and.
Right. That's when she. That's when watching Freddy. Yeah, that's when Freddy comes in, leading into another classic line: "Welcome to Wonderland, Alice." Yeah, and that's when he walks in. That's when he starts doing the karate moves on. Yeah, and he kept laughing all the time. As he goes, "You got their power, I got their souls. Right. Come on."
Then she takes the gadget.
Right after, right. Well, first he knocks.
Ghostbuster gadget.
Well, first she knocks him. First she knocks him down below, looking for him, and then he gets up and he goes, "You think you got what it takes to beat me or something? I've been guarding you. I've been guarding myself for a long time, bitch." Yeah, he throws her down. And then as he gets ready, then she grabs the glass, the Ghostbuster thing, and puts it on, she puts it on Freddy, around his stomach. It opens up, and you see the inside. You see his heart or something, and that's when he just goes,
right.
And then that's when he goes, "I am eternal." He then he whacks her. And that's when he's finally getting ready to finish her off, and that's when they were singing the song up top. "Now lay me down to sleep.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep."
And she saw the glass, and then I forget what she said. Shall die.
Yeah, she said, "If evil shall see itself, then he shall die."
Then he shall die. Yeah. They go inside, and then you see the
arms start ripping out of him.
Right, you see the arms. Right, because she kept saying, "Let them out." So the arms were getting loose, and then finally, they were ripping out. And then finally
One came out of his head, too.
Right, they fell back. The arms were coming out. Yeah, because he was trapped. They were trapping him on the pole or something, and then the arm came out of his head, so he was banging himself. Yeah, they were all struggling. He was trying to get out, And then the one you see, the one hand go on his on his lip.
It's like pulling his jaw down.
Right, so his jaw's going down, and finally his face it's like getting worse, and then finally then everything just it's cracked open. You see the light coming
his head
out.
Blew off.
Right, and you see a light coming out, and he starts walking, and all of a sudden, and I guess his body melted or faded away, and then you see the clothes falling, and you see his glove come out, and then you see all the souls coming.
Thank you, Alice.
Coming out. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Alice. All coming out.
And they went to heaven.
I guess. Right, I was gonna say they went to heaven, and of course she said, "Rest in hell." Yeah. And Freddy's gone, and then the next day, I guess it's the next day or whatever. Then finally, it looks like Danny and Alice. Looks like they. Started a little relationship.
Looks like they were dating. Yeah.
They were starting to date, right?
How can you not after all that?
Right. They threw they got to the word, the word of fault, and she wanted Danny wanted Alice to make a wish, and that's when, of course, when she said, "If I tell you, it might not come true," because she saw, she saw a little image of Freddy there. Yeah. So and then that was it. They walked away. Music plays, and the credits come on, And that's how part 4 ended. Like I said, I always thought I think that was my my favorite one.
Right.
Because he had a lot of good lines in that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
Freddy. I think that's what it was. And
The
you know,
characters is what makes the movie.
right, you know, and he had some kind of little comedy lines. I mean, that's just my opinion, you know, and that's so. That's my that was my favorite one, part 4, and then of course the next one will be part 5, The Dream Child. That'll be the next one, which was 1989. Because like I said, each one came out, you know, they all came out a year apart. Pretty much like the Friday the 13th, if I'm saying it right. So.
And of course, just like the Friday the 13th movies, they get kind of ridiculous after a while.
Well, especially well, to me that would be to me the worst one. To me would be Jason X, in my opinion.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I think we said this before. Jason X was probably the least. I mean, Jason Goes to Hell was okay, but
I like Jason Go to Hell.
You like Jason Goes to Hell when he was able to go into be people's bodies.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll be down the road. And like I said, we'll definitely do Dream Child from Nightmare on Elm Street. That'll be the next one. We'll do that one soon, I'm sure. So.
I think we just about covered everything.
I think we did too. You know, before we go real fast, I like to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day, because Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I want to wish happy Father's Day to my brother Matthew, because he's a father himself. So happy Father's Day, Matt. And also 4th of July is coming up in a couple weeks, so hopefully everybody will be together for 4th of July. Do some fireworks. And there's, you know, a lot of things are getting back to normal. As you know now, when you go in public, you don't have to wear your masks that much in public places.
Still stay safe though.
But still stay safe though. Hopefully, fast food joints will open up to eat inside soon down the road. I know we still can't eat inside fast food places, but hopefully they'll be doing that. So, all right, and I think we covered everything. As always, if you got a request or something, leave a comment below, and hopefully we'll if we have it, we'll dig it out, we'll watch it, we'll find it, and we'll have and we'll definitely have more reviews coming up in the future, definitely.
Yeah. And you know, always give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. And as always, we will catch you on the next one. Peace.